How's it going? Welcome to a new video, and this will be the starting point of a new section, shall we say. So, if you're new here, my name's Mikey, and if you look at my channel previously, I've made a lot of videos about a lot of different things, kind of documenting that whole thing, and then it just came to an abrupt end because I was working, and if I'm going to be honest, and which I have to be, because going forward is all about being honest, is that I couldn't be arsed. I just couldn't be bothered. It was just such a pain to sit down, talk a piece to camera, edit it, post it up, and, you know, to be honest, my heart wasn't really in it. So why the change? Well, indeed, why the change? Well, there's a few things happened. One, I based my channel entirely on the fact that I worked in the creative industry, and that it was more of a documentarian-based approach. I figured if I made videos about what I did, then that would somehow mark that event in history and also share the experience, I guess, with other people. But then I realised that a lot of the things that I did, well, they were a gift, and I was very privileged to be in a position to go and work and do all these great things around the world. I just didn't really have the same level of pretend fun, shall we call it, because, you know, we know there's a lot of videos on YouTube where people say, oh, it's the best job in the world, I do this, I do that, and invariably that's not what they do. They've just created this small section of what they do to make it look like what it is they do is like that for, you know, 12, 24 hours a day, whatever. But life isn't like that, and everybody watching YouTube knows that, because well, not everybody, or maybe they do, I don't know, maybe that's a paradoxical event. Maybe there are those idiots that make those videos that think that people watching them are idiots and therefore will believe that's what's going on.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Anyway, without getting too much of a rant, I have retired from that industry. Yes. I will go into it in greater detail in other videos, but I wanted to make this video because this is just like my starting point, the fulcrum point, if you will, in the middle there, where I'm kind of leaving what I did behind and I'm kind of moving forward. I'm still going to do things that I do. I'm still going to create to a certain extent. I'm going to do things, but this is going to be more of an observational channel, I guess. I'm going to make things, and I'm going to talk about things, and I'm going to share some facts and interesting anecdotes and stories that I've seen, done, people I've met, all that kind of stuff. And that's what I'll share on my channel. As of the making of this video, this is in January 2024. Depending on when you watch this, will depend how much sense this makes, but the channels that I follow, you know, creators that I watch regularly, and I enjoy their content. I enjoy honest, truthful approach to how they do things, and those channels vary right across the spectrum. The rubbish that I see is what spurs me on to make these videos, because I'm thinking, what is wrong with people? What is wrong with the people that make them? What is wrong with the people that watch them? And I know it's all subjective, because there was a time when YouTube didn't exist and TV was all that you had, and there was channels on there, and the TV content that you watched was normally brought to you by a production company who were governed by the money makers, the execs, the channels, the corporate side of it all, where they decided what they thought was a good program to make, and then they would commission a production company to make it, and they would hire a crew and they make it. And that was it. So you were told what you could watch. Nowadays, you can watch whatever you want. So I decided, I've made a big change. There's a big change in my life, and it all started last year. I haven't made any videos. I honestly can't be bothered making videos, but now I've decided I need to structure my life again, and I thought a good way to structure that is to add things into it, you know, where you have to do certain things by a certain time, and it kind of makes you kind of just refocus your energies on certain things. Now, I'm not saying that making videos is really one of those things, but I'm throwing it in there just now on the basis that for me it'll work as a bit of a like a journal almost, and if I make videos and I try and upload them once every week or whatever about whatever it is I'm going to talk about, then it'll help me move that whole kind of machine along. So my format going forward, like I said, it's observational. It's what I worked in. You know, I worked in factual entertainment and observational documentaries. And factual entertainment is entertainment that's truthful. Documentary is documenting the reality. So I'm going to splice the two a little bit and see if I can create a bit of whatever I'm going to do. The big change here is that I don't really have to worry about my professional standpoint within the media world. I've elected to take the opportunity to retire as a director and a DP from film and TV, which, like I said earlier, I'll get into that later on other videos as to why. But the general consensus is that the industry's broken, as far as I'm concerned. It's not a great time to be a freelancer when you're my age. As you're on the downward slope to 50 and you have a family and you have commitments, being a freelancer in a very hostile and uncertain industry, especially in the UK, it's just not sustainable. And that's my decision. I mean, there might be people wanting to argue that case. I don't care. As far as I'm concerned, and the circumstances that I live in, it matters, so I have to change. What I'm going to change to is already written. I've had quite a long career. I've done quite a lot with it. I've seen a lot. I've worked on a lot. I've ticked a few boxes. All grand things. And what I want to do is I want to share some of the things that I've learned with others that may be thinking about doing this. There are lots of people who I've watched grow into certain things. People who I know, people who started off one area and moved into another. People who still make videos and are doing a different thing now. Some who are doing great things and they've just elevated what it was they initially wanted to start doing, and others have kind of stepped away from it altogether and don't do it anymore. The industry that I work in, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some great people in there, but it is a really toxic, horrible place to be sometimes. And trying to get work is really hard, and trying to maintain relationships is really hard because everybody's just looking out for themselves and stepping on everyone to get to the next spot. There's a lack of money because of inflation and rising costs, so there's a lack of money to make these things, and production houses expect more for less. And I can come from it for multiple areas. I was a diver, and then I was a drone pilot before I stepped into DP sort of world. But there was people who wanted all three of those jobs combined into one, which is just, it's ridiculous to expect someone to do that. But the more ridiculous thing is, there are people who do it. And as soon as the people who agree to do it, they're damaging the industry. They're damaging people who are experts in their field, and then you're hiring someone else to do the things that you won't do because they won't pay you the money that you deserve to do that job. Anyway, this video was just to kind of just explain that. This is what I used to do. I don't do it anymore, and I'm moving away from it now. And I decided in a sort of journal way to catalogue my journey going forward now. Share some of my experiences and expertise from the past, and make some videos going forward that just kind of shape where I'm going. It's more for me, but I'm sharing it because, I don't know, it kind of feels cathartic. Okay? That's why I'm doing it. But the thing that won't change within all of that is how I deliver it. If I sound a kind of little bit ranty, sarcastic, incredulous, unbelieving sometimes, it's because I am. And unless I'm presented with the facts of something and it's explained to me, or I get to read it and I get to take it on board in a kind of educated way, well, I'm afraid I'm going to tear it into parts, and I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to pose questions. I'm going to, call out the ones that are talking nonsense. I'm going to raise social matters, I guess, within the industry or the work or type of work that people do, and invariably through YouTube as well, because at the end of the day, it's a platform where people get to share information, and how do you know if that information is right or not? Thanks for making it up to this point. If you're kind of into seeing what's coming next, I'd love for you to kind of like and subscribe and be a part of the whole journey going forward. If not, thanks for watching. If you switched off ages ago, well, you'll not see this bit, so it doesn't really matter. And yeah, I don't know what's coming. I'm kind of making it up as I go along, but it'll be kind of like this: me, camera, in some location, talking about something that invariably has a beginning, middle and end, because at the end of the day I am a storyteller, and it probably will wind me up. It'll probably start off good, I'll point out something really bad about it, and finish on something good. So we'll go with that kind of the creative sandwich, where you say that something's good, but where something could be improved, and then finish on something good again. Let's start with that and we'll see how we go. Alright, excellent. Well, glad to have you here. See you on the next one, and if I don't see you, well, Merry Christmas.